Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. A lot of people have been saying, sending me messages saying, look, why are you so down on Fury? Okay, I'm not going to rehash the whole avoiding, ducking Usyk thing. But they're saying, this Ngannou fight, well, it's an exhibition, and, if it does well, you're saying it's not worth the pay-per-view money, that remains to be seen, because if it does big numbers, clearly a lot of people thought it was worth it. Okay, well, that's an argument. I don't dismiss that argument. Yeah, if it does big money, does big views, okay. There's a lot of people out there who obviously don't have the same perspective that I do on what constitutes value for money. And that's the way it is. I'm going to have to accept that. But the other point, this is something that's being overlooked. The reason I don't like this fight, one of the reasons I don't like this fight, if I don't even consider it a fight, people say it's an exhibition. First of all, it isn't, at least not according to Frank Warren. He's not saying it's an exhibition. This is Queensberry rules. Is it 10 rounds it's going to be over? 10-ounce gloves and so on. It'll be a glorified sparring session because Ngannou hasn't had a professional fight before, and Fury is, we know all about Fury. But is it considered to be, a proper fight? I don't think so. But that's the point. It's being promoted as a boxing match. Okay, Fury's WBC title isn't on the line, from what I gather, but which is all the more reason why, to be honest with you, considering he hasn't got a mandatory and he hasn't fought a mandatory since Dillian White, that makes his conduct even worse. Is he a champion, or is he a paper champion? What is he, a real champion? Is he a real fighting man? Or is he just a bullshitter? Probably the latter, I think, over the last year, certainly. But this is being promoted, at least by Warren and by Queensberry, probably by Bob Arum, as being a boxing match. It's not a boxing match. And people talk about, well, Muhammad Ali fought, was it Ioka, the wrestler? I can't remember his name. Okay, but bear in mind that Muhammad Ali had cleaned out 2 generations of heavyweights by the time he did that. That was towards the end of his career. Floyd Mayweather even, I think Floyd Mayweather, actually, like Tyson Fury, is a vast talent, but at least, even though you can argue that he cherry-picked people and he retired to sort of avoid certain people, and he came back and he waited till people had too many miles on the clock before he fought them, and so on and so forth. Despite that, he did at least fight people. He did at least, you could look at a top 10 rankings and say, okay, Floyd's beaten 5, 6 of them maybe, before he fought McGregor. Fury can't say any of that stuff. And this is being promoted as a boxing match. It's not. It's, as I said before, it's the Harlem Globetrotters. This is not the NBA, it's the Harlem Globetrotters. This is a trip to the circus. And of course, a trip to the circus can do big money. It can make a large amount of profit. But does that really mean that, what you're seeing at the circus is anything more than just fun and games? No. So if this does do massive money, if it does do big receipts and big pay-per-views, and, I don't want to hear that this was anything more than a trip to the circus. Just as I don't want to hear that Mayweather versus McGregor was a real fight, a real boxing contest, I should say. It wasn't. It's down as Floyd's 50th win. Should it be? I think most, apart from obviously the Mayweather fanboys, I think most people with any kind of objective view would say, well, Mayweather was a great fighter, but that 50th win was just a cherry on the cake. It wasn't a real win. It was just, that was a trip to the circus. Fury and Ngannou is a trip to the circus. Let's say it for what it is, regardless of whether it flops or whether it does astronomically successful figures. It's a bit of fun. It's an aside. It's got nothing to do with heavyweight boxing. It's got nothing to do with heavyweight history, with the history of boxing, with the history of the heavyweight division. It's it's an exhibition. It's a sparring match. That's it. And I think what really rankles me, more so than the fact that I think it's, you know, mutton dressed as lamb and tin dressed up as gold, is the fact that it's being classed as, you know, the heavyweight champion taking on an MMA great, you know, this game changer. You know, it's not. There's nothing of the sort. It's garbage. It's junk. It's, at the very best, it's a curiosity, a little sort of footnote in boxing history, if you like. And of course, you know, Warren will do his bells and whistles routine, and he'll do his P.T. Barnum thing, and, you know, as all the promoters try to do. But don't be fooled by that. It's a garbage fight, not really a fight. But if you like a trip to the circus to laugh at the clowns, you know, with their big red noses, driving the cars with a and the door falls off, and, you know, the steam comes out of the engine. It's that type of bit of fun, you know. You know, you might win a goldfish, you know. Goldfish on one of the, you know, 3 darts, hit 101 and you get a goldfish. That's the level of this in terms of fistic history, boxing history. And that people are saying it's not, that people are suggesting it's something more, just as they suggested that Mayweather and McGregor was something more. That's the bit that really pisses me off. Because, yeah, if it does do big numbers, people can turn around to me and others, many others who sort of dismiss this as garbage, and say, well, it did big numbers, it made money. Okay, it made money, yeah. Yeah, I get it. Clearly a lot of people did not share my view that it was not worth the money. They jumped in and bought it. But don't talk to me about it being boxing. It's nothing to do with boxing. Right. And this is a boxing channel. And I'm a boxing fan. I don't even follow MMA. I don't even barely know who Francis Ngannou is. I gather he's very good at what he does, but he's not a heavyweight boxer. So, just a few other thoughts. Let me know what you think. Comments below, as always. I'll answer them. And yeah, if you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate your time as always. And bye for now.